Shalom, it's Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. So today we're going to do part 7 of the Rambam's 13 principles. And we have a very exciting topic. We're going to do that Moshe Rabbeinu, that Moses, our rabbi, our teacher, that he was the greatest of all the Nevi'im, of all the prophets. So today we're going to be using, once again, Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan's book on the Ani Ma'amim, on the 13 principles. And let's dive right into it. The topic's a little complicated, and Rabbi Kaplan wrote a lot of books on Kabbalah and prophecy and meditation, so I think he is a good source for giving a more simple explanation of a very complicated topic. So let's jump right in, the 7 principles. So Ani Ma'amim B'Emunah Shlema, that I know with perfect Emunah, Shenevuah Moshe Rabbeinu Alav Hashalom Haisa Amiti, that the prophecy of Moses, is absolutely true. The Shehu Haya'av LaNeviim, and he was the father or the chief of all the prophets. La Kodmin Lefanav V'la Ba'im Acharav, and he was the father of all the prophets, even the prophets that were before him, like Abraham, Yitzhak, Isaac, and Yaakov, some of the earlier prophets, and then the prophets that came after him. So he was the greatest of all the prophets. So we go to the song the Yigdal to get a further explanation. Lo Kam B'Yisrael, it's a Moshe Od, that was never established, has never stood up in Israel, the Jewish people, like Moshe. There's never arisen another like Moshe, and Navi Umabit Es Tamuna So. So he was a Navi, he was a prophet that looked upon his image. And who's the image we're talking about? We're talking about the image of Hashem. So we're talking about the image of an infinite being, the infinite God who has no image, who told us never to make an image of him. So how do you gaze upon an image of an infinite being? That's a very complicated subject, so we're going to get some help today from Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan. So Rabbi Kaplan, he came up with 4 different categories of how Moshe was different and greater than all the rest of the Nevi'im, the prophets, and it's pretty complicated, so I'm really just going to kind of read this almost straight from the book. Okay, so that Hashem spoke, number 1, the first way that Moshe was different is that Hashem spoke to all the other Nevi'im, the prophets, through an intermediary. So what does this mean? We're going to be talking about Malachim, we're going to talk about angels, and the word Malachim means messengers. And we're going to find out a little bit of how, like, Hashem gives messages to the Malachim, and and then delivers it to people on the spiritual level of a Navi, a prophet. So Moshe alone did not need any. He didn't need a Malach. So this is what the Torah means when it says in Numbers 12:8. It says in the book of Bamidbar that mouth to mouth I will speak to him, and that's what that pasuk means. That Hashem didn't first give the message to a Malach and then to Moshe. That Hashem spoke. This infinite Creator spoke directly to Moshe. So the second one is that every other Navi could only receive Nevuah prophecy while sleeping. So we find that in numerous places that the prophecy is described in, like, Genesis 23 as a dream in the night, or in Eov in the book of Job 33:15 as a vision of night. So if prophecy does occur during the day, it only comes when the prophet falls into a trance, and I think Rabbi Kaplan here is talking about a prophet going into a deep meditative state, and where all his senses are obliterated, and his mind becomes as passive as in a dream. So this state is called a vision or an insight. So Moshe, however, the word came by day when he stood fully awake by the 2 Keruvim, and that's talking about the 2 golden angels that were on top of the Ark Kodesh, the Ark of the Covenant, if you want. And then Hashem himself thus testified, he said in Exodus 25:22 in the book of Shmos, I will meet you there, and I will speak with you from above the ark cover, from between the 2 Keruvim, the 2 cherubim that are on the Ark of Testimony. Hashem likewise also said in Numbers, and once again the book of Bamidbar 12, Pesukim 6-8, if there be a Navi, a prophet among you, then I, God, I Hashem, will make myself known to him in a vision. I will speak to him in a dream. This is not true of my prophet Moshe. Mouth to mouth I will speak to him. That's the second difference between Moshe and everyone else. So the third difference is that even though other Nevi'im, other prophets, only experience a vision in this meditative state, and then only through a malach, through an angel or a messenger, it was still a very traumatic experience for them. Their strength would fail, their stature would become disarrayed, they would experience such dread that they would come close to death. So after the angel Gabriel spoke to Daniel in a vision, Daniel said in the book of Daniel, Sefer Daniel, chapter 10, pasuk 8, I became powerless, my appearance was disarrayed, and my strength deserted me. I fell on the ground in a trance. He later said, also in pasuk 16, the vision caused me to become dislocated, and I had no strength left. This, however, was not true of Moshe. The word came to him without his experiencing any trembling or terror whatsoever. The Torah says in Exodus 33:11 that Hashem spoke to Moshe face to face, panim el panim, as a man speaks to his friend. So Moshe's Nevuah, his prophecy, was just like a friendly conversation involving no agitation whatsoever. So Moshe did not tremble at the word, even though it was panim al panim, face to face, and this was because he was so completely attached to the spiritual, the ruchnius, as we said. So, right, so what does that mean, panim al panim? I don't know, it's very complicated. How do you speak face to face with an infinite being? But Moshe had this very close connection to Hashem, the closest that any man in history of the world has ever had. So number 4 is that other Nevi'im, other prophets, could not receive prophecy whenever they desired. It depended on Hashem's will, Hashem's ratzon. So a Navi might wait days and years, still not achieve a Nevuah. And all that he could do was plead to Hashem to reveal a vision. He could pray to reveal a vision, then wait until it came. And this might take days and months, and sometimes it might not ever come. And there were numerous groups who purified their minds. There was actually schools of Nevi'im, schools of prophets. They purified their mind. They constantly kept themselves in preparation for prophecy. We talked about this a little bit in part 6 about prophecy. And we were told that when he sought prophecy, so Elisha Hanavi, Elisha the prophet, in the book of Kings Malachim Beis, Kings number 2, chapter 3, verse pasuk 15, he says, "Now bring me a musician." I think it's menaging. So still, even with this preparation, it was not certain that he would achieve Nevuah, achieve prophecy. So a Navi, as we said before in part 6, that a Navi had to be in the state of simcha, of joy and happiness. No one, when they were sad or depressed, could receive communication from Hashem. It's an interesting idea. You have to be open, happy to be able to receive this, and someone that's depressed is like tight, closed off. So it's a great thing to be going for life in a simcha, a state of happiness, knowing everything's from Hashem, and that's how we start to reach a higher spiritual level. So Moshe, on the other hand, could achieve prophecy whenever he desired. The Torah says in Numbers chapter 9, pasuk 8, "Then now wait, and I will hear what Hashem commands in your case." And Hashem told Moshe in Vayikra in Leviticus chapter 16, pasuk 2, "Speak to Aaron your brother, that he not come at all times into the holy place," I think meaning the Mishkan. So our Chachamim, our sages, teach us that this means that Aaron cannot approach Hashem whenever he pleased, but Moshe could. So these were 4 ways that Moshe was greater and different from all the rest of the Nevi'im, the prophets. And also consider how special Moshe was, that he was born and he was born one of the few people that were born actually circumcised. He had the bris milah when he was already born. I mean, I think there was some kind of thing that his house may have even lit up with light. He was born 3 months early. I forgot if it was 2 or 3 months. But the Egyptian astrologers, they had saw through analyzing the mazalos, the constellations, that a great leader was going to come from the Jewish people and he was going to deliver them. And this got the Pharaoh very nervous. So they're looking to see what babies were born. And because Moshe, they saw in the stars when Moshe would be born, and Hashem specifically made Moshe be born early. And then when they finally came 2 or 3 months later, whatever it was, to look for him, that's when Moshe's mother Yocheved had put him in the basket. A famous story. Put him in the basket into the Nile River, and Moshe's sister Miriam followed, and then Batia, the daughter of Hashem, that was her name. She was the daughter of Paro. She was a princess, and she actually, our tradition is that she was a Giora. She converted to Judaism, and that she actually took Moshe, and she raised him, and he was raised in the palace. I mean, it's extraordinary. He was raised as like a prince, in the palace of Paro, and here's the man that Hashem had picked to be the Navi, to be, the person that was going to lead the Jewish people out of Mitzrayim, and just further showing how Hashem controls all the events of the world. And not to say that Moshe didn't do incredible amount of hard work on his mitos of learning. He probably was an extremely intelligent and kind and good person. But Moshe was also, he was designated to be a special person. There are 7 people that are connected to one of the 7 lower sephiros, and Moshe was actually connected to the Sephira of Netzach, which is like eternity, like victory, dominance, and this was a special quality that Moshe had to be so closely aligned with this Sephira. He was going to be the one that was going to bring the Torah. He was going to receive the Torah from Hashem and bring it into the physical world that we have today. We have the Torah now. So it's very complicated, very fascinating a subject. We just really scratched the surface of it. But that's number 7, that Moshe, and this is one of the importance, number 7 of the 13 principles, of the Torah. And this is very important that we understand that Moshe is the greatest of all the Nevi'im, and that's going to be important because next one, number 8, is going to be that Moshe received all of the Torah from Hashem. All right, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it, and welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah.